Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of Citizens United. My name's John Rustino, and let me introduce you, if you don't know, to my co-host, Chris Fortin. Hey, Chris.
Hey, John. How's it going?
Oh, all right, man. Not bad. How about you?
Wonderful, man. Great. Glad to be here again in the wonderful Yowawa Studios in downtown Niagara Falls, New York, USA, baby.
Right.
Yeah, I'm ready to dive right into it tonight. I know we talked before the show, and we got a lot of stuff to get to. Hopefully we can get to all of it. But I got some late-breaking news, just in case folks out there listening hadn't heard. Apparently Grand Island doesn't need tax revenue or jobs. Looks, according to Channel 4 News website, the Amazon project has been officially called off. So, yeah, just thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah. It's too bad because we could have had a lot of people from, obviously from Niagara Falls would have went and worked there.
I mean,
sure,
Yeah, it's a big loss to the whole area, I think. Why we wouldn't want more jobs and tax revenue, and I don't know. It just seems like people, are people just fed up where they don't give a care anymore or give a whatever shit, and they're just not paying attention, or are the choices? I know this is maybe a good leadway into what you want to talk about, but I mean, we're left with this. We're left with choices like, you go for it, man.
Well, all right.
It's a mess out there.
I had every intentions of talking about some other stuff. We are going to talk about North Tonawanda because that's crazy what's going on with the Niagara Reporter. And we're hopefully Alderman Austin Tylik will be calling in around 6:30 to give us his information on it and what he thinks. But you know what, Chris, and everyone out there, we're going to have to roll this. So whenever you can, let's roll the tape.
Beautiful.
But I think it's important for you to know that obviously we are operating under the level of service that the City Council has provided. If in fact you would like to have more service or have increased service, I think you need to make sure that you tell your City Council members to appropriate more funding for it. They set the funding, and if they fund only so many people, we'll do all that we can within that amount that they've given us, and sometimes it isn't quite enough for us to accomplish all of the things that we and you would like to see accomplished. So I know that the City Council members enjoy hearing from you, so when you get the chance to speak with them, please remind them to make sure that they fund all of the departments at the appropriate level so that we can provide the services that all of us expect. I know, much like you, it would be wonderful to make sure that pothole in your neighborhood that's driving you crazy were fixed quickly. And we will get to them. Once the heavy-duty street paving is behind us, then we'll be back out there doing those types of patches and repairs. But remember, your patience is appreciated. I know that for some folks, it's been a lot of years since anybody's paid attention. We're going to do our best to make sure that we eliminate a lot of that backlog. But again, it's going to be important for the council to provide a level of service that will allow us to do that. And they're the ones that are in charge of appropriating the funding. Just as they have provided you with this refuse fee, they have to make sure that they provide funding for the services that we will administer.
Well, there you have it. Now,
welcome to Romper Room, folks.
Well, you know what, Chris, give me your thoughts. Go ahead. You go first.
I'm actually at a loss for words. Normally, I'm not. I mean, just watching that, I think that's the second time I saw it. I saw part of that on the Edge of the Falls Monday night. I'm extremely, extremely disappointed. Number one, I have no idea what that gentleman just said, the mayor. And secondly, I kind of think I know what he said, that basically we can go ask the councilman for money to fund the departments appropriately, but we don't have any money. So, a little confused, a little disappointed. Maybe the mayor will call in and explain what he meant by go talk to the councilmen and ask them to appropriate the budget so we can get our potholes fixed.
Yeah.
Isn't there a pandemic? We have no tourists. We have no revenue. The hotels are empty.
Right.
What? Help me out here, John, please.
Well, I mean, from what I get from that is a couple things, but the first thing I get is he's blaming the city council for the garbage fee. That's what I'm getting. He's blaming the city council for not being funded enough to have enough people in DPW. So in essence, when he's blaming them without blaming the last administration, right? He's blaming the three guys, the three people, the three councilmen that voted yes for the garbage fee. There's no other way to look at it other than them three. He's blaming them. He's saying they brought it to you. Here it is. Now, and he's blaming them all for not funding
A little bit of
the departments both.
A little bit of, you call it pass the buck, I think, here.
Yeah, and the other thing is, and I really believe this, the more that council continues to kiss his ass, the more they keep doing that, the more he's going to do these types of things. He doesn't respect you. He doesn't respect the council whatsoever. I mean, that was just proven right there. There's no respect. How he doesn't respect them. I mean, look at that. You heard at the end, it's like in hockey when they get you with the glove, the face wash.
Yeah, and since when did our councilmen want to hear from us? Councilmen, we have to say, I guess, politically correct, but council people out there, I don't know where the mayor got that from, but if you love hearing from us, we want to hear from you too. So if anybody from city council wants to call in or join the discussion, feel free. What's our number, by the way, John?
It's 804-1229. Phone lines are open.
Social media is available.
Right. Yep. I would like to hear too from anybody who's just a regular citizen. I mean, that's not in the council and all that. I just don't understand how this is hard to see. If you continually allow the mayor to do whatever he wants, which so far, fine, it's a new administration, but when you continually say to him, and I mean, Vascio was about to do it the other night when he stormed out a couple weeks ago. He was about to tell you how great the administration is. He was just about to do it before he got cut off.
Oh, yeah. He wants to pump them up, make sure that the people believe they're doing wonderful.
Well,
Please stop that.
Well, they think... I don't know what the hell. They think...
It was an alien.
Yeah, I know. They think that with him, they're going to win re-election, that they need him for re-election. So they're just going to allow this to continue. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to get worse and worse. He won't do it with a smile. And he doesn't respect the council. He does not respect them one bit to do that. And that's bad. That's not good because we need people that are watching, right, Chris? I mean,
who's watching the hen house?
I mean, if we're going to have a council that's only going to be an extension of the administration, well, then we don't need to have anything anymore because in some ways, I had always thought the council was supposed to be, we got it set up like, president is the administration, council's kind of like Congress, and then we got our corporation council that's kind of like, the judges, sort of like Supreme Court.
Yeah, and then we got other bodies of people that were created that have nothing to do with the reality of life in the city or hardships or deciding, sometimes you go to the store and you got to decide between, milk or bread, but sometimes you don't have a choice and you can only afford bread, and they don't face these situations. And for that matter, they live in their luxury houses and they get their streets paved and their garbage taken out. And while the worker bees struggle along and, nothing changes, but we have a lot of people that want to complain and they want to be keyboard warriors and pass the blame. Let's get involved. Please contact the show. Please chime in social media.
Hold on one second. We might have a call.
Beautiful.
Caller, you're on the air with I almost said Edge of the Falls. Citizens United, you're live. Go ahead.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Okay, it's very interesting. Almost, and maybe this is just my take on this, but it almost sounds like the narrative that many of the politicians are taking on today. Don't blame me. It's always somebody else.
Yeah.
That's an easy job for them, yeah.
Well, they're learning from the best, right from the governor. Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, my father used to punish me because of that if I blamed on somebody else. It was my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called accountability, and nowadays especially it's easy to, go on photo ops and not address the concerns of the city to make yourself look good and to, promote just things that are important, no doubt. But, how about getting a picture of the mayor maybe picking up some trash in the city or digging a hole because somebody wants to build something here, not just for the tourists. Yes, we're a tourist city. Yes, we're a hospitality city. But can you have something here for the people that live here, for the taxpayers, for the? There's so many children in my neighborhood. There's like 10 kids next door that play every day, and I'm glad they're in the yard and safe playing. But that's because they have nowhere to go. They have nowhere to play. There's no movie theater. There's no mall. There's no arcade. Nothing. And you're surprised that they're all riding dirt bikes and four-wheelers down the street because their parents are on drugs and there's nothing for them to do, so they find their own entertainment. Come on, people. Wake up.
They're going to do that.
Yeah.
But, your mayor cannot push off the responsibility on other people. It's still his job to manage these people and make sure they get the work done. Period.
Right. Yeah.
And now he comes up with, maybe we should call him the wizard, and he can grant wishes, or a genie mayor.
Someone on the council has to take charge, because if they don't and they keep on being subservient to him, he will continue to take. He won't take a mile, he'll take 100 miles. He's not going to stop. If he doesn't respect them at all. Someone there has to make him respect the council. So far, everything he's wanted to do, from residency all the way down the line to having a public information officer and all this stuff, has not been met with any resistance. If there's no resistance, forget it, man. The council has to be strong. And right now, they're not, in my opinion.
Well, thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for calling. Absolutely. Great call. Thank you so much. And, brings up great points. Great call. We appreciate your interaction with us. Brings up a good point.
Yeah.
Last night, or on Monday night, where I think it was Eastside Dave was on, and he was talking about, his issue with his garbage totes.
Yeah.
But another point that he brought up was, who on city council, of all the city council members, who can you say right now on this show tonight that they're going to go to bat for you? They're going to go to bat for me. They're going to go to bat for the average citizen or a business owner that's been here for 50 or 75 years. Is there anybody that's fighting? And Dave brought that up. They're supposed to represent us. They are supposed to go to the mayor. And as he said, we want something fixed. We just need to ask council to help us. Well, it's not that easy. But are they out there fighting for the good of the citizens of Niagara Falls? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that at home if you're listening, watching. Is there someone on city council right now that you feel comfortable with going to with a serious problem in the city that affects your quality of life and you want it changed?
Well,
are they going to do it for us? Are they doing it now? Have they done it in the past? It needs to happen. Hold these people accountable.
Well, re-election is coming next year, 2021. There's 3 of them that are going to be up. So,
good.
I mean, what are we going to do?
Well, here's our chance. We're starting it right now. There's no excuses. You've been told. You're on record. You've been notified. There's an election in a few
whiles. If they don't want to be strong, then there's no point of being there. They have to be a strong council. They have to be. Because you don't want it just to be, let the administration do whatever it wants. I'm not saying argue for argument's sake, but there's some times where you got to kind of, stick up for something, whether it's your city charter or it's or whatever. I mean, or stick up for yourself because you're being disrespected. At this point, they were disrespected in a way that wasn't even backhanded. It was right in your face. I mean, you know what I mean? It wasn't even hidden.
And now, where do you go from there? They should feel like they've been scolded. They're been told to sit down in the easy chair, the settle down chair.
I don't see where you go from this. I mean, you got all kinds of problems. They were talking about the mayor asking the unions to take 15% pay cuts and all this other nonsense, and he just thumbed them in the eye.
Yeah.
I mean, are they going to continually keep saying over and over how great they are, how great this administration is, and thank God, and all this other stuff that I keep hearing? It's fine. You're happy because something new is there.
I mean, the city's in
out,
rough shape.
And some of it's not the administration's fault.
No,
we know that
they
for
walked
sure.
into it, and then on
do?
top of the pandemic, you're.
But you can't.
This has been going on for 20 years, 30 years,
Wow.
40 years, 50 years. The same old stuff. I mean, hopefully people are listening to us out there, John. I mean, and Ohio Barb chimed in on social media. How can we fix the mayor? Like, he is supposed to be leading by example, and he releases a. Oh, why didn't the public information officer release his video? Maybe it would have been a little more understandable.
I don't think they hired one yet.
Oh, they haven't hired.
They couldn't have because no one told us.
Yeah.
So we would have to know who it is.
Yeah,
and there they are.
May have crickets. Yeah, may have happened in one of those late night moves, like wasn't it the Indianapolis Colts that moved during the night?
The Mayflower trucks, yeah.
Or
Baltimore Colts.
Baltimore Colts at the time.
Yeah.
So around here, things could happen in the middle of the night, and probably do.
Well, we need to know.
Knowing our track record.
We need to know who that is. We definitely, we need to know who that is because that's going to be pure patronage. So it'll be interesting to know who's being thanked for what.
Yes.
When you know who got that job, because that job is unnecessary. I don't care what the Republicans here in Niagara Falls try to tell me; it's unnecessary. And it's funny that the Republicans in Niagara Falls are the ones that will jump to the mayor's aid faster. They trip over themselves to make sure you know what a great job they're doing and how much they need this public information officer. So, we need to know who it is then. I'm curious.
John, the people keep doing the same thing over and over again, right? They keep electing the same people and expecting different results. As we know, that's a definition of insanity, right?
Right.
How can we, what is the next step besides saying, well, we need to change things in Niagara Falls. We need things for people to do. We need to hold the mayor and the council accountable. We can talk until we're blue in the face about it, but what is the next?
I got a
who
solution.
can help us? How do other cities of 40,000 people or 45, whatever's left here? Okay, help me because
I'm gonna help.
I don't want to talk about it every week. What we need to do. We need to go over there and do something and shake the fence or spray paint something. I don't know, but let's get them going.
I'm gonna help. I'm gonna help right now.
Away.
Here's what it is. Every single time there's an election,
getting hot over here now.
Every single election in the city, I would do this for everything, but definitely for the city. No one gets more than a term. We just keep voting them out. Voting them out. Everyone's going to, you're not going to stop.
Okay.
Until you get what you want. Because you're just going to keep voting them out. Like I couldn't run for city council because by my standards, I couldn't elect myself because of my name. I wouldn't run because I would be connected to that dots that I've talked about that I wouldn't want to elect.
It would almost give you a tarnish.
Well, when I talk about Watazik and Maziarz and I say follow the dots, I'm not voting for a Watazik ever again because why would I? That's just doing something to let them know, hey, we still like you, even though you've done this to us. And that's the same thing here in the city. You would continually vote them all out. Incumbents are going to leave until they prove that they are worthy to stay.
100%.
But I think that's our only choice because going to the council meetings, they don't care. Because they're only concerned, to be perfectly honest with you, you know what they're concerned about. They're concerned with the police and fire.
So that's an old tactic. That's not going to do. It's not going to do anything.
If those unions came and got mad, then they would be scared. When everyone else comes, they don't care.
Okay, but aren't there other cities that have a similar population and have fire and police? How do they do it? Somebody was talking about volunteer police or fire or something like that, or maybe citizens patrol. I don't know, but let's change it.
Yeah, I think.
So we'll start with voting the incumbents out until we get what we want.
Yeah, I would do that. And I don't care who it is. Yeah. Like, I'm not even saying it doesn't matter. It's not vendetta. It's not against. It's just if we're not happy, we are going to vote you just continually, and it's going to happen every 2-4 years. Just change, and everyone's name's going to change until you get what you want. But
it's not a tumor.
Yeah,
I give a good analogy like this, right? It's not a tumor. It's not a hot dog either. If you don't like eating hot dogs and they make you throw up, stop eating hot dogs, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't like the people that represent you, either in a local election at City Hall or City Council or the mayor or your senators or representatives, whomever they are, then change them, get rid of them, throw them out in the trash, and try something new. What do we got? We got nothing to lose. We're already at the bottom of the barrel. We already went over the falls years ago, right?
Well, this is my choice to do this is because I'm a no party person, so I don't care about Democrats. I don't care about them at all. So for me, to vote for a Republican over a Democrat, I don't care. To vote for a Democrat over a Republican, I don't care. They mean nothing to that doesn't mean anything to me, because I know they're the same. They're the same. It doesn't make a difference. So I'll just keep on. If that's all you're going to give me and you won't give me a third party choice, well, then I'm just going to keep on rotating you over and over and over again so you don't get comfortable sitting there. And I don't know any other way, because like I said, protesting at the meeting does nothing. They looked right at you and voted yes for the garbage.
Looks like you got a fan already. Another fan, John.
Oh, yeah.
Danny Fitzpatrick Jr. says, need younger people to run and bring in fresh ideas. And yeah, that goes along with term limits too. I mean, I don't know if younger people are necessarily, we need experienced people that are going to get things done.
We have to set the term limits ourselves. I mean, that's why I want to vote out every incumbent. And I don't, like I said, if we're not going to get third-party options, then we can't continue, just keep electing. I mean, we had Mayor Deister for, I don't know how much, 16 years, 12 years, whatever it was. And, I mean, they had no water in LaSalle at one point, and they still elected him. So I don't know, in that
was
one
horrible,
winter,
all those and water pipes, right?
Yeah, and we elected him again. So, I mean, at some point, we can't do that. You know what I mean? We can't. It's got to change. Chris, I don't know.
And I like how you bring up, too, on previous shows about the mayor of the city gets closest, whoever can get closest to Cuomo, right? With the man with the money.
That's who we elect for some reason.
And then they basically run his agenda instead of running the agenda of the citizens that elected you, that pay your salary, mayor and council members, persons. Represent the people, please.
How about that every time everyone generally in Niagara Falls, New York, in Western New York, don't really approve of Governor Cuomo? And I'm not talking, let's forget about COVID. I'm talking about how things get, how we can't get anything from from the state park and all that. But instead, we have a candidate who ends up becoming mayor who's not hiding it. He's got pictures with him and Kathy Hochul. No other candidate had that.
Nope.
And that's what we as a community chose. So, I mean...
professional photo ops.
I mean, if that's what you want, then that's what you're going to get. And I don't know why, but that's why I would continually vote everyone out until, maybe we run out of candidates. I don't know what would happen, but I would continually vote people out, Chris. I don't see any other way. It is too bad, though, what you said about, before we go down to our next topic, it is too bad what you said about in Grand Island. What was that, Amazon?
Yeah,
That's tough, because I think Niagara Falls, a lot of us work over the bridge, so it's not a big
I
deal.
think Kevin had chimed in on that earlier.
Okay.
Kevin Hutchinson, basically said, if they don't want it, bring it to North Tonawanda or, where he lives, because... I mean, and then what'll happen is we don't have no jobs.
Well,
I don't have no money. I can't do this. I can't do that. Well, you could have went to work at Amazon on Grand Island, except there's cave people, and those are citizens against virtually everything.
Yeah.
Why? Give me 5 good reasons why Amazon should not have gone there, instead of your one reason why there may be more people on Grand Island. There may be some more traffic. There's no tolls anymore, so they're not going to stop at the toll and create environmental issues. The exit of where the building was going to be located was literally right off the thruway there, so it wasn't like they were going to be disturbing neighborhoods. And guess what? Those people would have to go out at lunch. Maybe they need their car repaired, so they're going to spend some money on Grand Island, but they don't need jobs or tax revenue. So the next time someone complains there's no jobs, you can blame the supervisor, I guess, town supervisor on Grand Island for not wanting, and the cave people for not wanting Amazon.
Well, speaking of North Tonawanda, an incredible story in North Tonawanda is going on, and of course the Niagara Falls Reporter or Niagara Reporter's involved. No! Listen to this. Listen to this story, Chris,
Great job,
and everyone
Peter.
out there.
All right, I'm all
North
ears.
Tonawanda is paying $2,000 a month to the Niagara Reporter for what they claim to be information for everyone, to let the citizens of North Tonawanda know what's happening in their town, in their city. And we're waiting on. We might get a call from Austin Tyler, who's an alderman there, and he voted no against us. He was the only no vote to spend $2,000 a month, giving it to the Niagara Reporter. Because he had said the city would be, North Tonawanda would be better off using just their own social media. And due to the pandemic, many things were already canceled. So what's there to notify? Now I know what they're doing, and we know what the reporter's doing.
You got a great terminology for that one.
Manufacturing consent,
Yep.
and that's what's happening. I mean, they are paying $2,000 a month for nothing but good.
Positive spin.
That's it. Well, good, only good things.
Yep.
And now we're going to go down the list again. We got the mayor of Niagara Falls. We've got the sheriff. We've got Wojtaszek, including Henry Wojtaszek. We've got the little bakery, which I don't understand that connection. Always, always great stories. You'll never, ever see anything bad. But if you notice, they took a shot at Maziarz. Real good shot at Maziarz. But guess what's going to happen? This is my prediction. Maziarz has a lot of money, and he's going to start spending it on Republicans and candidates. They'll come around to Maziarz and like him soon.
Don't call it a comeback.
I'm telling you, though, they'll like him soon. They'll no longer dislike George Maziarz.
Yeah, kind of like what happened with 45. Remember how the Republicans, everyone hated his guts?
Oh, yeah.
Totally, despised him. As soon as he got in office, they were buds again.
Well, now we got
Best friends.
another thing going on in North Tonawanda. There's a city clerk's job, I believe, that's open because the city clerk retired or quit or something.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, they're asking for applications. Well, they asked for applications yesterday to be turned in today. So no one can apply. I mean, obviously, they must have their idea who they want to win, to take that job. Because how can you apply in 12 hours or whatever the hell it was or a day? So you can't do it,
Right.
What's going on social media? Anything?
Just replying to Ohio Barb here.
Oh, Ohio Barb.
She's making sure that I'm speaking properly over here.
Oh, yeah.
That, there are tolls still. So, yeah, if I misspoke on Grand Island, pay your toll, but keep moving, because if you stand still, you're going to create gas in the air from your automobile, and then the ducks would be scared. So anyways, we're going to keep it moving. If you want to call in and join the mayhem tonight at 716-804-1229, please tune in from United States, Canada, or Mexico. We appreciate it.
Yeah, so now we have North Tonawanda, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you hear what's going on there. It's obviously just corruption going wild.
They got to keep it burning. It's like embers. It just never really goes out.
Corruption. Would you call this corruption here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you go that far?
I think there's some underlying corruption, no doubt.
Yeah,
in the
definitely
city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all of it, not sadly, but obviously, is centered at the Reporter, the Niagara Reporter. Did you notice?
Do they still have a building, or where they operate out of?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I saw the one guy. I think he's the owner. Parlato got his court case. I think delayed till next year.
He used to own the Oxy building, right?
Yeah.
One Niagara,
right.
The old Oxy, whatever it's called, Niagara.
Yeah, he's got some tax issues, I think, that they're going after him for. But, I mean, I don't know why there's such a connection between that reporter, the Niagara Reporter, and all these things that seem to be against the citizens, let's say,
Yeah, and like you said, it's blatant. It's a positive spin. It's not reality. It's
right.
like a manufactured, almost like
right.
the National Enquirer, if that's still around.
All right, caller, you are on with Citizens United.
Hi, it's Austin Tylick, Alderman at Large in North Tonawanda.
Oh, thank you for calling. Thank you.
How are you?
Good.
How are you guys doing?
How are you doing?
Wonderful. Thank you for calling in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, but who's John? John, I don't know your voice, so you're going to have to...
Okay, I'm John. This is John right here.
And this is Chris.
Nice to meet you, John.
Yep, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well,
nice
Chris.
To meet you as well.
All right, well, we were just talking about North Tonawanda, and, why we were kind of tying in Niagara Reporter, obviously, because they seem to be on everything that is corrupt around here. What do you know? I mean, $2,000 a month.
I know where I can go. I know where the bar is. Comments.
This is free speech here, and you just tell it like it is, because John is a pro at that.
Oh no, we both are doing good. Now, $2,000 a month to the Niagara Reporter from North Tonawanda for, I call it manufacturing consent. I'm saying they're doing that just because they always want positive news about them, no matter what happens. Is that what you think, or?
So, the background, last week we had a council meeting, and surprisingly there was an agenda item from our council president, Eric Zadzilka, that had a contract with the Niagara Reporter to basically put them on retainer for $2,000 a month, which I'm guessing you already talked about. And I had a lot of questions about it, and I did vote against it for a few reasons. A couple of the things that I had asked during the time were, have we asked anyone else about services like this? And the response was more so like, well, other people aren't offering the service. Newspapers aren't offering ad space. Okay.
Right.
And then other things were, well, is this really necessary? During this time, we don't really have a ton of events going on. What kind of material are we going to be putting in it? And I was told it would be any department head or elected official could write something up and put it in there, and it wouldn't be modified or something of the sort. But then, my question was, well, okay, who's writing these things up, and why don't we just take that information and utilize our city website for free or our Facebook for free, or I even suggested at the end an email list. Just collect residents' emails and every week blast out a little blurb of events and things going on. So I think it's a total misuse of tax dollars. I think it is, really taking advantage of the community's dollars and focusing it on something we really don't need at this point or really in the future, and especially during this time when we just got our recent audit that really had a negative perspective on our city finances. We shouldn't be spending our pennies, nickels, and dimes.
Well, we had that here in Niagara Falls because just before the pandemic when we shut down, they approved a public information officer for $42,000 a year. It's useless. It's a patronage job. Now, this here, of course, I was thinking as you were saying what they were telling you when you asked them, did we reach out for any other publication, any other newspapers? Well, of course, because no other newspaper would probably do this. I mean, this is basically, this is pay to play stuff. I mean, how do you figure that?
Right.
I mean, I'm watching, let me give you an example. I saw in the Niagara Gazette, there was a story about I guess New York State did an audit of North Tonawanda. And
Correct.
I was
got it.
Yeah, and I was reading that story. So then I go over to the Niagara Reporter and read the story. And
it's a lot different, isn't it?
It's a hell of a lot different.
I
and
left a little of it out.
Optimistic.
And that's what $2,000 a month pays for you, gets you. And
sure.
And that's
sure.
Now, are you a Democrat?
So I'm a registered independent, and the rest of the council is Republican, as is the mayor.
Yeah.
And then our former city clerk treasurer, who just stepped down, he was independent, endorsed by Republicans.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Is there any way to? So you said that was basically with the Niagara Reporter was a signed contract.
Yes, it was.
So
it just sort of fell on the lap, and then the 4 council members approved it, and I voted it down, but it passed. So
there's no, and that's what, a year contract probably?
So it's monthly, but we have to give them 60 days notice before we could opt out of it. So it's, we're not necessarily locked in, but as long as the current leadership is the way it is, I don't see it changing anytime soon. There's a lot of connections, a lot of weird ones from my understanding. I've been told things like, I think the OTB used to buy ads until recently when they no longer have to or can because they don't have anything going on. Right. So they had to, and I think it was more than $20,000 a year, but I don't think it was more than $30,000 the OTB. I don't know the exact number.
Well,
do you know?
No, I don't know the number, but the
OTB connection, I'm sure is right. Yeah.
Well, the OTB connection is the connection to Caroline Wojtaszek and Henry Wojtaszek. So, and they only do nice stories about Wojtaszeks in there. That's it. You never ever hear a thing that is, because there's got to be something. It can't always be great. Everything can't always be great.
Well,
and so
I think they got a couple of years ago, when social media started really kicking up. But, I've been in office now a little over 2.5 years, but I really utilize Facebook, and I think some, veteran politicians missed the boat on it, and they just couldn't capture the news the same way. So they found a route around it, why is no one writing good articles? Well, you got to do good things to get good articles, right?
Yeah.
So if you just make them up on your own, and what's really scary though is their online presence. That is getting very weird, I would say, because I don't know the exact title of the individual. He's a younger sort, managing editor for it. But, it's been said like fake Facebook account names to try and pull comments from people or antagonize. Recently I called out the managing editor for creating as it's quoted, like the, quote, true public page of North Tonawanda.
Right.
And it's riddled with Niagara Reporter ads and, sort of a certain taste to it. And I called him out and just made it public and said, don't follow this, and it's going to be biased, and it's media manipulation, and it really does get to a scary point where, when you start controlling and changing the news, it's not good.
No, it's
print a story based on the highest bidder, right?
It ends
That's
up
where
being,
we're going.
It's Pravda stuff. It's like the old Soviet Union. I mean, it's insane. You can't have that. That's how they manufactured the consent of everything. And then it's even worse because here we cross-endorse, so they can set up the election all they want. I mean, you can have Republicans running on the working families line. It just all gets intermingled. And this is like the final nail in the coffin if we're going to allow this, if we're going to let them do that. I mean, because right now, the Niagara Reporter does that for the current mayor of Niagara Falls. And like I said, he does it. They do it for the sheriff, and they definitely do it for the Watazics, and they do it for a certain business here. Well, no, they hate Maziarz right now, but they will grow to love Maziarz because he has a lot of money.
Yep.
And he'll be spending it soon, so they're going to like him. That'll change, and that's going to be funny to watch. But I got to say, Mr. Tylik, I got to give you credit. I mean, we were just talking about this here in Niagara Falls. Our city council is weak. They don't have a They don't have a watchdog. They're too busy.
Oh.
They're too busy giving the mayor.
Three Republican. What do they have now? 3 Republicans, 2 Democrats.
I think so. Yeah. Yes.
Something like that.
I think so.
It flipped. I was
but it doesn't.
Told, right?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter because it's the same old.
It's a hodgepodge. I mean, you get the Republicans don't. It's just a mess. They divvy up what they want to do. But I'm saying now, you there though is good because at least you're a watchdog, even if it's just one voice, is better than no voices. Because I would have never known.
Balanced. Yeah, we need more balance in government for sure. I mean, on both sides can always get a little too powerful, right? And so it's always good to just try your best to keep balance. And right now, Niagara County, especially North Tonawanda, does not have that kind of balance. And it's disappointing, but, luckily there's an election around the corner always, so you hope.
Now, are you a no-party independent? You're not. Are you in the Independence Party?
I'm actually an Independence Party, correct?
Okay.
And I am endorsed by the Democratic Party.
Right, all right.
You always got to side with the big one, right?
Right. Well, yeah. That's why I'm no party. I chose to be that because I can't stand Democrats or Republicans. So, but I get it. I mean, let me ask you another question. What's going on with the city clerk's job? Why are they trying to hide applications or something? It sounds
like. It's very weird. Yeah. So there's a gray line there. Last Tuesday again, it was a notice given around like 2 o'clock, like late communication on the Tuesday, and I was like, rumor. I've heard rumors for months about this, and there's rumors about who's going to get appointed too, but we'll get to that. But it wasn't much of a surprise for myself, and a few others, but then it was vacant, and I asked at the end of the meeting, are we going to be doing open interviews? Because the clerk treasurer who left initially, or who just left, when we appointed him the first time, he didn't have to go through interviews, and there was no one else given an opportunity, and I made a real big think about it, because I think there's a lot of qualified North Tonawanda residents who could fit that job, with accounting degrees or, real experience working in that sort of field, and it was difficult, and unfortunately he didn't last too long. There's different questions as to why that was, but you got to think about it. The next clerk that we appoint, I think Tuesday it'll happen because we have interviews Monday. It's going to be our 4th one in 5-ish years, and those are 4-year terms. I mean, what do you think that does to government in general? What do you think it costs taxpayers in the long run when you just keep doing political chess? It's just dishonest. It's not right. And really, the residents can't do anything unless they vote these kind of people out who make these decisions. So luckily, we are doing interviews. The release on that, it was very weird. It was never emailed to myself, at least. I don't know about the other council members. Supposedly, it was put in the Buffalo News or Niagara Gazette, like tucked away, like other legal notices.
Right. And they're good at that. Yeah, real good at that stuff.
So I found it like Monday because some resident told me, and I posted it online, and I said, "I'm sorry, no one had notified me. Please submit it by Tuesday at noon." And it was just not really how it should go, and so on. But I believe by our charter, we do have to appoint someone by Tuesday. And I know one of our city council woman who used to work for the OTB is applying for the position. Wow. There's about 5 other applicants as well, and I mean, we can imagine how this is going to size. So.
Yeah, we know how this is going to go.
Yeah, it's been a great time.
They think you know what it is, and they really think no one's watching. They really do. They're so bold, especially the older politicians, because they're used to being in the 80s and 90s. They're very bold now. They don't even care.
These circles go so far back, though. They're so connected, so far back.
It's so arrogant, right in your face. They don't even care. They're pretty much telling you, "I dare you to do something," because they don't believe they'll get voted out. I'm telling. That's why I keep saying, for me, I would keep voting. If I don't like I'm just going to keep voting them out. I'll keep voting. I don't care. But that's the thing. They're very bold, and I got to get Alderman Tylik. I got to give you credit, because I know you're probably feeling like you're screaming into a canyon because those people don't care. I mean, and you're going to be fighting these guys, and they're out of control. We know how the Republicans in the legislature are. I can only imagine what's going on in North Tonawanda, and I really appreciate.
It's wild here.
Yeah, it sounds like it, and I
call it the wild, wild west. It's something else, and every so often it surprises me even. So it's only been in it for, like I said, 2.5 years, but there's been some battles, and it's all for the right reasons, and Yep,
you got to keep up.
Makes the news.
You got to keep up the fight. Keep up the good fight, because
it's fun. It's good.
We deserve what's right for people.
No, we deserve people like Alderman Tylik, because we got to have someone watching. We have no one here in Niagara Falls watching. No one's watching, and that's why the mayor here did what he did, and you saw the video. Yep. Because no one's watching, and he can get away with it, just like the people in those in North Tonawanda are doing. They are daring the voter. Yep. Do something about it.
Hey, John, here's a real quick question from one of our regular callers, Kevin Hutchinson. We also have Wade Van Valkenburg joined us, and William Nye. Thanks for chiming in, guys. Kevin says, how much does political affiliation mean, does political affiliation mean that much in city government? Do you think as far as what party you belong to, how impactful is that, do you think?
Well, it does really matter. I think people. So, for example, there's the Independence Party. That's honestly what I see people running as, if they're not running as a Democrat or Republican. And generally, the reason is because you'll get endorsed as a Democrat. You'll get endorsed by the working families. You should get endorsed by the Democrats. I guess in this scenario of myself. And the Independence Party, as we know, is controlled by Republicans, right?
Right.
So your best chance of getting that party line, and in North Tonawanda we have about 1,400 voters on that line. I think there's like 9,000 Democrats, 7,500 or 8,000 Republicans. Right. So it's a significant line, and you got to fight for it, and you want your name to show up on that ballot. And I wasn't endorsed when I ran, and I don't think I'll be endorsed when or if I run again. So it's one of those things. Political party matters to some extent, and in Niagara Falls, I don't know, it's a little more purple, I would say, right? You never know how someone really sides even if they're Dem or Republican.
Well,
So
yeah, here, I mean, I don't know. I mean, and you can even look in the county judge and all that stuff with the sheriff. I mean, there's registered Republicans that the Republican Party won't endorse. There's registered Democrats that the Democrats won't endorse. And then it's funny, you'll see the Democrat who calls herself a liberal Democrat openly has said, I even went door to door for President Obama. I'm a liberal Democrat. And how is it that Caroline Watazik?
Caroline, right.
And
that
how
was
does
a Mazier's mailer too, right?
Yeah, and that's what she is. I remember when I was on the radio at WJGL, I had Henry in there with me for an interview and stuff, and he was always saying how it's funny how he's the Republican and she's such a liberal Democrat, and we'd laugh. But now she got endorsed by the Republicans and the conservatives. That's insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so then
right. She wasn't endorsed by the Dems. Yeah.
So they fix it.
It's a guaranteed
in a way,
win.
They rigged the election. And now I don't know about the sheriff. I hate getting into the sheriff's race, but there was Greer. I mean, he's there. And
we
no
know
one
who's
endorsed him.
We know who's going to take a loss and who's not.
Well,
Let's
no,
put it that way.
It works out good.
And it works out the other way too, right?
The Republicans, let's say the Republicans get the sheriff and the Democrats get the judge, and everyone's happy. Everyone goes away happy because those are the most powerful things you can have in a county.
Yeah, I mean, it sets her off for 10 years, right?
Yeah,
so
everyone's good.
She's good to go. She's settled in.
Right.
So no matter what happens with Henry, you got that at least.
Right. Well, Mr. Tylek, I thank you for calling in, and I hope to have you in soon. We'll talk about you coming in to visit us and doing a full hour. Keep us posted too on anything that's happening. All right.
Yeah. Expose the stink.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Nice to meet you.
Thank you both for having me.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right. Have a good night. Bye.
And
so that
John,
was Alderman Austin Tylek from North Tonawanda.
Man, you've got some quality guests. We've had on in the show, in the studio, as well as calling in, and I know you and your wife put a lot of effort behind the scenes here. So I just want to send that out real quick.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you guys do. Of course, our wonderful production team here.
Well, here's the thing I want to do. I don't want to. I mean, what's the point of me having a city councilman in here unless they want to come in? I mean, why even have them? I mean, what are they going to tell me? I mean, I know what they're going to say. See, this guy, though, I like having him because he's telling you. I mean, he's doing the job. He's looking out for the people right there. He's doing it.
Yeah.
But you don't have that here right now, and I don't know why. I don't know why. There is no one watching. No one's watching, and you're going to get. And it's going to get worse. Sooner or later, the council here is going to get aggravated. You know they will, because how many times can you be disregarded, disrespected, never mentioned at play? When they go out to things, the mayor doesn't even mention them by name. He just calls them the city. You know what I mean?
Wow.
There's no respect. There will be no respect unless you get the respect. And then that's it, man. You're just going to have to sit there and take it.
And we do respect our call-in viewers at
course.
716-804-1229.
But here's what we got to do, though. We need to get Peter. Where's Peter? Peter Green.
He's probably here somewhere.
All right, we're going to have him come over with you when he can. Whenever he can. I don't want to take him. The king of media. Here he comes.
I mean, we definitely got to talk about Yawawa Studios
we're gonna talk
and
about
all the
everything.
things that can become possibility.
Here he is.
And, talk about some good positive things.
No.
No.
Good positive things.
How much did you pay him to speak what he's
With the managing editor of the Reporter. So I know here on your show you won't say it, but the man is a sexual predator lawyer.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, he is. Yeah, we know.
And today we sent out a bunch of stuff just to reinforce that. Hi, Wade. Hi, Kevin. Hi, everybody. And I see all the comments here. Chris has got a good little setup. I like this.
This is just, it's a
that's
great place
here.
to be.
This is beautiful.
And we got to get this thing expanded, put Niagara Falls on the map. Maybe we can get some production going from you. I know you're a writer and you're a tour guide and you're a man of multiple trades.
Just keep busy.
King of media, man. And this place is nothing. Yawawa Media, if you haven't seen it, is incredible. I mean, we can do we could have a talk show like Johnny Carson if we want, or the Tonight Show. No one probably knows who Johnny. Well, anyways, you know what I mean.
Excuse me.
We don't want no we got enough wild animals in here. We don't need to bring more in.
We're doing podcasts. We're doing everything here. It's awesome. If you want to advertise, we can go on location. We can do everything. We can do everything and anything you could want.
And what a variety of shows that they host here.
Yeah.
We have ours, of course. We have the Edge of the Falls on Monday nights with Brett and Peter,
the
Madman and the Mystic over
Mystic,
here.
yeah.
And then they have Tessa Del Zappo on her medium show. What night's that on?
That's on Thursday nights at 8:00.
Yep, wonderful.
That's become just like your show. In your first 4 weeks, you guys just shot up with your views, and it's going really well. You know, that's the problem, is that in our community, we had a couple of shows. And what's happened to these shows? I mean, Vince Anello, he's on every Tuesday and Thursday, right? And
He might be on every day now.
Really?
I think they made him the new W whatever it is, EBR. I think he does an everyday show now. They forced him.
Don't call it a comeback.
I think he's on every day. Yeah.
Oh, because it's the most boring set in the world. But all power to him.
And then
there
he
was
tries to
Sal.
sell his radio. Doesn't he make songs
Yeah.
too, music?
He does something. It's,
tries
it's
to
fun.
sell some audio clips
It's
of
like-
himself singing or something.
Oh, man. And then what happened to Sal and Rose?
Yeah, I know. I missed them. I hope they're okay, because that's weird. Ever since the pandemic, I haven't heard from them at all.
We were having so much fun with them. We were going back and forth, teasing and stuff. And then the pandemic. And it was too bad, because we were going to do a night where Rose co-hosted with the Madman, and we thought that would be
That would've been
sparks and
good.
fire. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been fun. That'd have been fun. They were fun. I mean, they were fun. I always got along with them. I mean, but that's it. That's all we have now. I mean, well, Vince Anello and Tom aren't ever going to do anything, other than what they're going to do. Nothing. There's just a lot of ass kissing type of stuff. So they're not going to do anything. And here we are, man. I mean, I think we're doing great. I think we're doing all. I think Edge has been around for a lot longer than all of us.
Well, just since October, but yeah.
You've been around, and you've been doing stuff, and we're doing all right. I think we're making people understand a little bit. I just.
And it's nice because it's starting to feel like there's little different groups in the city, and now these podcasts and what Peter and Brett do are bringing people, bringing it to the forefront, keeping it current, keeping people talking about the issues. And now we just need to come together as a collaborative unit and hold these people accountable. You need to talk to the city council members. You need to go to city council. You need to call. You need to go there. Why not? Why can't we set up a peaceful protest about some of these things that are happening? Maybe we can get the news involved and maybe an outside perspective, because the same old thing is just getting really nauseating.
Well, that was the idea of Yowawa. We built the studio. This was an empty room, and like John says, we have multiple presentation areas. We have a seating area, like a Carson set. We have a couple of green screen environments, one of which John's in front of now, and one of our team, we have a group of teenagers, 3 brothers from the same family, and we have one of them here tonight, Dustin Hardy. And I think, gentlemen, if you've noticed, he does a heck of a job on video switching.
Fantastic.
And Dustin hosts his own show on Sundays. It's at 4 o'clock. It's called Potter in the Falls, and it's about Harry Potter. Right. And it's kind of interesting. We've been following his show, and he's really, really great when you ask questions and stuff. But the idea was that we've got this facility, we got the capability, and now we want people to express their voices, people to call into the shows. And
right.
And what does Kevin Hutchinson say here? Peter, Chris, Brett, and John talk to me more than anyone in government. I'm learning, and I appreciate it. Oh,
wow.
Thanks a million, Kevin.
Wow. Yeah,
And, yeah.
That's wonderful to see the interaction, and we just, like I said, got to come together and make some serious changes, because we, as citizens, as taxpayers, we deserve more representation than we're getting, and we deserve honest representation for the people that we elected to represent us. So if you're out there listening, we're on your tail, and we're going to keep that fire burning.
We're paying attention.
Yeah.
John, you were last night on the Two Virgos podcast. Great job, by the way. It looked really good. And one of the things that you were mentioning at the time was about the fact that that the Niagara Reporter, when it first started, was a really viable voice in our community. They brought about a lot of change.
They did.
They were responsible for Maid of the Mist losing the Canadian side because of the inside trading, so to speak, that went on.
Yep.
And a lot of good things came out of that. And they had a saying that you were reflecting on that says, "To comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable." And that's really what we wanted to take over here. Was we wanted to create an environment. We're about to launch a new podcast with Dante Miles, one of your colleagues.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, fellow
And
peacemaker.
Johnny
Sure, yeah.
Campanella, who's a journalist, and he represents the gay community. And we've had some good times with them on already. We've got Dustin's show, and we have Women's Strong on Sunday night, which is really like a Ohio Barb, who's part of our team here, said it's like a slumber party. We just need the pillows. She's out looking for pillows. But everything is meant to be a voice in one way or another. We've got another person who's looking to do a parenting podcast. And we do everything we can to make them as professional as possible and give them call-in capability and just make them all accessible to people.
And you have something for everyone. That is such a wonderful. Your audience can. There's something here for everybody. Whether you want to just come on and talk, you want to call in, you want to make a commercial, a video. Peter and the studio had been kind earlier when I first met Peter.
Oh,
and,
that was fun.
Yeah, we did. I was auditioning for a part in a movie, and I was a little bit nervous, believe it or not. But Ohio Barb was here, and Peter, and we made it happen. And I did submit.
Next week we're going to show that.
Yeah,
the one we did with the cat behind you.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, actually, I did propose a show to Mayor Restaino. I said, look, you could do a show about the politician of your stature, call it the condescending mayor. I mean, it'd be great. You could snot on everyone. But,
right.
And by the way, Luann on our staff with the Edge of the Falls, she's... What'd you think of her work today?
It was great.
Oh, yes. We need more video.
We need
live.
More Luann.
Well, Luann is going to be helping out a lot because she says one day she's going to end up at City Hall anyway.
Right.
So Luann is part of our team.
Right.
We've got Ohio Barb. We've got lots of people, and we're growing. And we've got Dustin Hardy, Cole Hardy, and their brother Julian Hardy, and I'm their fourth brother, Fool Hardy. But they are the yo-yos, the Yowawa youth who produce all of the shows. And if you come in and watch them work, you'd think you're watching seasoned professional union people that are in here. And boy, I get them a lot cheaper. No, no, actually, they work hard, and they put their heart and soul into it. So
to sneak them in over from the border, Canadian guy?
No, No. Those are called furbacks, eh?
And
See,
again,
down south, they're wetbacks. Up here, we're furbacks.
And I'll tell you, when Peter talks about the young gentlemen, too, you can see their growth. You can see they're very professional for young gentlemen. And, I know Peter likes to give a lot of other people credit, but, he's molded these kids to do what they're doing. And, again, it's always welcoming here. It's very hospitable.
It's a family. Yeah, it's a family.
It's a family thing. And if you need some audio work, some video work, commercial, whatever, contact Yowawa Media through the NAC website. Best way to reach you, Peter?
YowawaMedia.com.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
it's I wanted to say something real quick about the Niagara Reporter and Nick D'Angelo. I haven't.
Oh, the sexual predator. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Scumbag.
I don't even know. I was on the one time because Brett was sick, and I came in, and we were talking about him. I filled in on the Edge, and I'll tell you, I don't know what to say anymore. It's so disgusting, and what really disgusts me is watching all the people that are elected or whatever they are just not caring and just really. I mean, I'm watching it. I've even said it to some online. I won't say who, and they just don't even. They'll go right by it. Like I'll say, and this, and that, and then they just don't even want to acknowledge it.
They're the old boys club. They love a good rape.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I'm serious. And it's funny because ever since early March, we've been running derogatory ads about Nick D'Angelo. Not heard a word from him because we also have all the text messages. I have the ones from the student from college who got pushed up against. He says in her own words, got pushed up against a filing cabinet while he tried to make out with her. Number of people who were told, like, you got one woman saying, I'm really glad to have a lawyer. I've been really hassled with this case. Meanwhile, he's saying, well, if we don't do dinner and drinks, we can do a secluded room upstairs. I mean, this stuff, you can't make this up.
It up. No.
Nope.
And it only lasted a minute, so you still have 59 minutes on your hour of your hour, right?
A couple of women said that.
Yeah, if I
Man,
took
what a
in-
disappointment.
Yeah, if I took in the secret room and I was supposed to be scheduled for an hour, but it was longer, it was really only took 1 minute. So
Well,
we can have other meetings, right?
I
Other,
should share this,
yeah.
is that you remember a few weeks ago, of course, a young lady was bullied in North Tonawanda. Kudos to the two wrestlers who intervened.
Yes.
It was a pretty bad situation. I got a call from someone in a theater company with me who wanted to check the background of Nick D'Angelo because there were concerns from some of the parents. He had been sniffing around. I guess he broke the story. Maybe he was looking for legal opportunities or something like that, but you're putting him in the company of young women.
Oh, boy.
And so what we did, we just sent everything we had, and I think it made it clear to them that this is a dangerous situation, and it will be dealt with. We have no doubt on that, and kudos to the madman for initially helping break the case. So,
And that's not a warning. That's a promise, Mr. Scumbag.
No, and the other thing too is, and then you go beyond that, which is the only thing really. But then you look at what they're doing over there, with how they're doing the $2,000 a month, pay to play, whatever, from North Tonawanda, and then you go to what's going on with the other 4 people that I always bring up and that one bakery. It's unbelievable. This is this is Soviet Union stuff. This is Pravda. This is this is what it is. It's right in your face.
And it's crazy. Like my wife just chimed in, Paula Sinclair Ford. Most guys wouldn't brag that it would only take a minute.
I think that for him is an achievement.
Yeah.
But you're right, John, is that those when it happened back around, this is how we got involved, was we kind of took the reporter to task.
Thank you for doing
They had Tony
that.
Farina writing puff pieces about the mayor and others. I mean, I couldn't see a better example of ass kissing anywhere until I read these pieces, and we started calling it Farina Hog Chow.
Yeah, he used to do like investigative reporting, I think,
He
for
was
Channel 2,
legitimate
right?
at one point. Yeah. He's supposed to be in the Hall of Fame, but I put him in the Hall of
Shame.
Lame.
Hall of Lame. That's even better.
But it was lame. It was like you started seeing the what you're now seeing in bigger senses. You started seeing these puff pieces come out. Like, we're just going to endorse people. And the guy told us, the managing editor told Brett, he says, I've got the reach. You want to really match up with my reach, and he was really bragging about it. Well, I mean, people see bullshit.
Yep.
I mean, they're going, I don't have to apologize for the language.
No.
I hope so.
But
he was maybe talking about a reach around.
I hope that they see, because when I'm seeing it, I mean, it makes me crazy. I mean, to me, I'm telling you, I'm seeing it like I'm in Venezuela or I'm in Cuba. I mean, this is just this. It's like state radio, or state news. I mean, it's just. I can't believe, and there's people out there that are reading it and believing it,
Drinking the Kool-Aid.
and it's free. So there's the other part about it. So people are going to pick it up.
Oh my God, I know, and it's the best cat litter box liner you can find.
And a lot of us, and even talking to the young Hardy Boy earlier, before the show, and John, and we mentioned, where do you turn to? Who do you turn to for? Is there anything official anymore? Because all the news sources just seem. Where do you turn? And I know, Brett, Peter, you have strong feelings about the media outlets, and it's just because it's out there, does it make it true or make it a story?
I'm going to tell you this. For me, national news, I go to YouTube and I find independent news. That's all I do. Like I'll go to The Hill has a good show where they do stuff. Okay, so I'll go there. Now locally, we have nothing.
No.
It's us. We're it.
What about CBC, since you're wearing that Canadian?
Oh yeah, I would listen to them. I listen to their radio at night because they talk a lot of good stuff. You get more
Radio Canada.
You get more information. BBC sometimes, but I'm not crazy about them.
I
How
like
about
the BBC
NPR?
because they're not voters.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, for us locally, it's only this building now. It's only us here at Uawa. There is no one else, because the newspapers. The Gazette is just as bought. They're just not as flagrant because they did it during the mayor election. The mayor himself put a ton of advertisers in there. And then they didn't even talk about the race. I remember talking to Glenn, and Glenn saying, oh, my God, they're not even talking about this election. This is crazy. It's the biggest election in 16 years. And they weren't talking about it. And the reporter, you got the guys that are on WJJL or whatever it is, they are not going to do anything. I'm telling you, it's The Edge, it's us, and whoever else. I mean, in this building.
And you know that, John, I don't want to keep dominating here, but
let's go ahead.
Hey, I own the place. No,
Right.
no, but in all seriousness, the one thing we have all stood up for, the one thing that Chris and yourself, that I give this to the madman as well. We stand up for free speech, and people are going to say things that piss us off. They're going to say things that trigger us, that make us angry. But you know something? My father had the best line in the world, and he fought in World War II. He's still with us. And he said that I might disagree with your point of view. I may be opposed to it, but I will give my life to preserve your freedom to express it.
Yep.
And free
Amen.
speech is important because if we don't learn to listen, you know, everyone yells and everyone screams at each other. You know, right now there's all this going on with Black Lives Matter, and I believe firmly that's what we're doing with Dante Miles as well, is that black voices matter now. If you look at our council, not one person of color anywhere, one woman among the entire leadership.
Right. Yeah, like you got to say, councilmen.
Yeah,
and that's appropriate.
Councilmen and
Yeah.
all one color. And I saw Kathy Hochul talking to the local tourism industry. I have a picture of it. We showed on the edge of the falls. The entire room, all the leaders of tourism, all white males. Like, the world has to change. We can't have quotas and force people to move into these positions, but we need each community to express its voice now. We need black voices to rise up in the places they can make a difference. You can scream on the streets all you want, and it does get heard, and it can make a point, but it can make a difference when you get into a leadership role.
Yeah.
Yep, and like
No.
Dante, bringing up Dante, like you said, I often hear him say, you know, listen to me for understanding. Don't listen for, you know, have a response already predetermined in your head. Please just come to the table and listen to our voices. Listen to what we have to say.
Yeah.
We're giving you true stories and true facts, and we just want to be heard. And that's, I mean, that's a very simple thing that we should be able to accomplish in due time. So, well, speaking of time, John.
Yeah, I guess we got to wrap it up.
Hey, thanks, guys. It was
Peter,
great to be on the
thank you.
show. We'll keep it going and make sure everybody knows. Oh, we will be launching your YouTube show channel
cool.
next week, and we'll start sending out information on that. There will be a
wonderful.
dedicated channel to Citizens United with John and Chris. So
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Peter.
Wonderful. Thank you.
So, Chris, well, here, you can say your goodbyes, and then I'll give my numbers.
Yep. Again, wonderful show. I think every week we're fine-tuning some things here and there, and we try to add different topics to keep everybody interested. We, again, encourage you to get involved in your city, whether you're here in Niagara Falls, New York, or Tonawanda, or Sanborn. If you don't like the way things are going, you have to speak up, and you have to want to make that change.
Right.
So follow the process, speak your voice, do it peacefully. John's going to give you a few numbers. I certainly endorse anyone needs help for any type of mental health or mental illness. He'll give you that number.
Yep.
And again, it's been a great show. Thanks, everyone. Peace.
Well, now, I want to give out these numbers. If you have ever been abused, and this generally goes to, like, sexual abuse, and it's very confidential, and they have great counselors and stuff. The YWCA here in Niagara County, it's area code 716-278-9662. They're there, and they're very helpful to help you through anxiety, to help you through anything that caused because of the abuse that you suffered, and you're a survivor of that. Also, for sexual abuse survivors, there is a website called RAIN, R-A-I-N, with another N after the end, and it's 1-800-656-4673. Now there's also a mental health number. It's depression, suicide, that kind of things, and all of that. And they're there, 24 hours a day. Please call 1-800-662-HELP. That's 435-662-4357, 1-800. That's for if you're alone, you're not alone.
You're
you
never
got someone
alone.
to talk to.
Yep.
Now I got a guest coming in next week that I forgot to even tell you, Chris.
Oh,
there
sweet.
is a guy coming in here named Jeffrey Flack, and we'll talk to him.
All right,
everybody?
wonderful.
Well, you take care.
Yep, take care.
See you next week.
Out.